The Bible to me is a historical document. Why would y'all put this on me right now? Not while I'm talking about the Bible. The Bible is a historical document. And especially in the Old Testament, there's a lot of genealogy and there's a lot of, historical events that are documented. The New Testament are books written by prophets, you know what I mean? And they found these scrolls and brought them together and made one document, one book. But the book is made up of a lot of people's interpretations of history, metaphors, especially in the New Testament. The Old Testament is a lot of genealogical and historical documentation. This New Testament is a lot of people's personal accounts, prophets, followers of Christ, and they took all of these books and they made one book, the Bible. So I read the Bible intellectually.
I want to give all the praises and the honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Recha HaKwadash, and double honors to the elder apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone. Honors to you other elders and brethren, you supporters and believers of the truth. Shalom to you sisters, and shalom to the elect. So anyway, I got this video. Let me jump back over here by the brother Azan Ha-Amath, right? Great, excellent, edifying videos. Don't know if you subscribe to him, but subscribe, very edifying material as well, how he puts it together. So anyway, I want to go back on this video, just responding to his response, Lizzo, who says, I believe he put the clip in there where she said she read the Bible front to back or something. I hear all the elder women say that, but it's a mystery, as Matthew 13 says. Is given to you, talking about the disciples, to know the mystery, but to everyone else it's not given. See, another word for prophet is not just, a prophet means to say before, stand before, say before, what's coming. But another definition of prophet is an interpreter. So even as a man myself, I had to follow in order to get understanding. There was no way I could read the Bible myself and just wake up and start reading it and understand it. And that's what a lot of Christians say. Read the Bible for yourselves. Well, you can, because interpretations, the languages has changed. And this woman, she's faithless, because it says, Lizzo refers to the Bible as a historical document, says she read it fully. Well, that's what it says here. Read fully, calls it not factual, but powerful, And most women, 90% of women, if they really read the Bible and understood it, they wouldn't want to uphold to the Bible. Because just like her with this yellow blonde hair representing, let me say, it's anti-life. Let me say that. It is not righteous to have blonde hair, especially as an Eve. So this tells you women and Eves today have way too much liberty. And then what happens is when you lose your identity, you have so much, just like Jake, you start looking for other religions and other beliefs, and then you get lost. So let's go to Romans 3. It says, what if some do not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of God without effect? Right. So just because they believe, that change anything? As Isaiah 55 says, so is the word go forth out of my mouth and shall not return void. God forbid. Yet let God be true, but every man a liar. As it is written, that thou mightest be justified in thy sayings, and mightest overcome them that thou art judged. So just like while we're going back to Noah, we see all these stories, right? And we read Ecclesiastes. Sometimes we get scriptures as we go along. We read Ecclesiastes 1, and it says 9, it says, the thing that have been is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there's no new thing under the sun. So we look at the Roman Empire, and we look at America, a lot of similarities, along with a little Ptolemy Egypt, right? A Greek, a little Babylon, but this is why this is called Babylon the Great, right? It's the Roman Empire. So we see all these reincarnations of empires rolled back up or rose back again. Just like styles, you'll have a hairstyle from the 80s that'll come back, pants from the 70s that'll come back. You know, there's nothing new. Everything revisits, it replays itself. So when we look at history, history repeats itself. This is why during the transatlantic slave trade, they had a problem and said, well, back in 70 AD was General Titus and Vespasian, and they led the charge in slavery. Yeah, but that was when he dealt with the Roman colonies and other nations. But the children of Israel, they technically didn't need ships. And if some were brought on ships, as they say, we see the shackles of Deuteronomy 28:48, thou shalt have a yoke of iron upon thy neck. They'll say that happened in Babylon. But we see these things constantly repetitive repeating, which means we are in this curse until the Messiah comes and delivers us out of this curse. That's what that proves. That means the curse has never stopped. So when it fulfilled, as they said, and the Messiah died, and then he said he shed his blood for the children of Israel, our curses wasn't yet finished. You know, when he went to the spirit world with his father, right, the day of the Lord is 1,000 years. Right? So that being made perfect is going to come to the children of Israel. We still had more curses to follow. After all, there would be no reason to deliver us if we were already saved. So if after he died and we was okay now, why would he need to come back to deliver us from the hell we're in? But anyway, that's another video. So this woman just truly just doesn't believe. Why? Because Hebrews 11:1. Now I didn't listen to the brother video, Lord's will, when I finish, because I got to get more time, and then I could go back through it. We pretty much all say the same thing. Different scriptures, different variations, same truth, right? Now, faith is substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So this woman didn't see Christopher Columbus do what he did either. She also wasn't around with World War II, or let me say going back to early 1900s, mid 1900s, World War I, right? He wasn't around for the Barbary wars, and he wasn't around for the Korean War. He wasn't around for even the slave trade. So there's a lot of things in history we take into account because someone documented. So you say the documentations only stopped or only started, say, the 1500s, 1400s even. I mean, it's just a history book, right? It talks about Ptolemy, Antiochus, the king of Persia, and mainly the Messiah, Yahushua. So that doesn't make sense. Let's go to the 17th verse. See, at the end of the day, it's going to come down to one thing. And let me hold that on deck, what I want to get. It's going to come down to one thing. And we all going to need that in the last day at the end. But let's go on down to, it's either the 17th or 27th verse. I'm not sure. Let me see where I'm at. It says, is it 27th verse? No, must be the 17th verse. Yeah, by faith, Abraham, when he was tried, offered up Isaac. See, this was pure faith. How many of us can do that now? That's a different level of faith, right? And he that had received the promises offered up his only begotten son. See, this thing goes deep, you know. It wasn't time for the Messiah to be sacrificed. That wouldn't have been later until the Messiah, Yahushua. But right here, he needed faith. It wasn't things that you had to actually see. He had to believe. Through faith, he was doing the right thing. And it's going to come down to that. As Revelation 2:10 says. With the mark of the beast. People have a problem with us saying that. But this proves it's going to be bigger than the law. The law is just enacted to help us morally to walk the true paths, and then also to worship the Messiah, Yahushua, you know, as far as being thankful and forgiveness, and he owns us, you know. Revelation 2:10. Fear none of these things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some into you into prisons. So now it's talking about some spiritual demon Satan. Right? It's talking about this man and his system. That ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee the crown of life. So what it's going to boil down to is faith. The women that are faithful, that day 7 women shall take hold of one man. They're going to understand. They're going to understand it was beguiled. The Lord is going to lift up the blinds off of them, and then they're going to start seeing, just like he lifted off us first. You know how they say the Jew first and then the Gentile? The man and then the woman. Right? And the sisters are going to wake up, and they're going to look at this and say, hey, we've been doing it all wrong. We followed white Jesus. We went to church, right? And now that the Hebrew Israelites has come forth, all these Christian-based people who do see that something's wrong with Christianity, they just drop it all together. Now the Bible isn't factual anymore. But see, 30 years they wasn't saying that. They wasn't saying Jesus, his color didn't matter. They allowed us to worship a white Jesus. Anyway, I just wanted to bring that out. I already looked, I was going to look up faith, but the scriptures tell you what it is. Ezekiel 34:31. And my flock, the flock of my pastor are men, and I am your God, saith the Lord God. So at the end of the day, we tell brothers don't worry about the women. When hell breaks loose and the fear comes in women, then they'll change, because that's all they see. They're carnal. And rightfully so. This is where the Lord made them, right? They're not meant to be faithful. They're not meant to be the faithful servants of the Lord. That's why he didn't when he told, was it Peter and Andrew, let me make fishermen of you. He didn't say, let me make fisher women, right? He didn't take a whole bunch of women and tell them leave their families. So we see there's a difference there. It's for the men. So whatever this woman believe, doesn't matter at the end of the day. Job 39:17, because Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, have deprived her of wisdom, neither have he imparted her any understanding. Right? And this is why I go to these cross references. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and discipline. That's where you get the word disciple out of. Right? So most of these women are not believers anyway. When they start seeing things kick off, I remember years back I was in some doctor's office or one of those minute clinics, and they was talking about World War III and the missiles and things like that, and all the women ran up to the screen and started talking about it and in fear. And that is what creates a woman and make her a servant and put her back in place. Fear. The society won't push that. We know that. But we know that's all it takes. If an earthquake happened right now, an asteroid hit the earth right now, all those women, your jobs, your careers, when all that stuff starts flushing down the toilet, you'll come into your natural self. The reason why you're unhappy, like these women, they got too much to do. And the reason why they're unhappy because they're not themselves. You can't tell a goddamn deer to be a fox. You know what I'm saying? You know, you just can't tell them to do that. You can't tell a bear to be a hyena. Once you take them out of their comfort zone or their nature and give them something and benefit them with it, it ain't going to do any good. So the only thing that's going to happen is when hell breaks loose, or you start seeing the decline of Babylon truly. When these AI jobs start taking their jobs and they start really getting down and out, and they start cutting those insurance benefits, the Section 8 and welfare systems and WIC. You know what I'm saying? When all that starts going, you know the Lord is pulling the plug. Anyway, that's all I have on that. Shalom.